It is day 4, 3:03 a.m. in the Big Brother UK All-Stars house. And the Ministry of Peace are still outside guarding the house, but as you can see, it is getting pretty cold and nippy. Brian Dowling was in the pool and he then began to freeze to death. So due to one of them already dying, if you saw in the last episode, we did see that Aaron sadly passed away last night. So I think because of that, because of the cold temperatures, Big Brother is gonna be easy on them and let them sleep inside in their own beds for the night. With Isabelle being the last one to get to bed and go to sleep.
Priv.
At 6 a.m., Ryland is one of the first people to wake up and get his day started. However, instead of cooking breakfast for everyone like he should be doing as a Ministry of Plenty member, he decides to make food for himself instead. Meanwhile, the usual bathroom shuffle is beginning. We see Cameron, Gemma, and Makosi all trying to make their way into a stall. Unfortunately, the bathroom is now covered in trash with the constant repairs of the toilets.
Lorraine.
In the bedroom, since most of the house guests are awake already, the lights are back on. However, Big Brother is not forcing anyone out of bed just yet. Some of them are still definitely going to be tired, and a lot of them just want to get in bed and have a good cry. Almost all of the house guests are pretty depressed and saddened over Aaron's death, naturally. And later today, we will be having a funeral to celebrate his life. It's so dramatic. A lot of house guests wait in the kitchen for breakfast to hurry up and begin or finish so they can eat. And as we see, a lot of people are just kind of sitting around and not doing much. Cameron does eventually start fixing the sink instead of bartending. And of course, Pete is first into the storage room and start breakfast for everyone. He's constantly cooking all the meals for all the other house guests, and that definitely has to be in his favor, I would think. But I'm almost worried about what's going to happen when he's not a Ministry of Plenty member and he can't cook for everyone. Like, who else is going to do this? We also see that Makosi has started making some food for everyone else as well. And I gotta say, I love the image of New York Tiffany Pollard just sitting off to the side by herself, smiling, watching the chaos in the kitchen, and eating a cold bowl of peas. At 9:32 a.m., once all of the house guests have finished eating breakfast, Big Brother decides to go ahead and call them into the living room to inform them about the funeral that will be taking place later today. I gotta say, it is a bit awkward in real life during the circumstances, especially to see house guests like Nikki and stuff like that in this house, and then to have a death. I never expected the series to have this kind of awkward tinge to it, especially so early on in the beginning of the series. This definitely is a darker version of Big Brother for sure. And if any of you guys are upset or offended at anything, You can let me know down below. Nothing's really going to change. Hopefully, no more deaths going on in the house, but I can never really predict what the Sims are going to do. All of the house guests end up going into either the bedroom or the bathroom, and they're gussing up, changing into proper outfits, and getting ready. And thankfully, with it being the Sims, they all change pretty quickly and are able to go back into the living room and await instruction.
Oskina Paraza.
Weekday.
So only a few of you are actually dressed appropriately, but that's mainly because this is your formal attire, and with 20 house guests, it's just impossible for me to go into Create a Sim and change it. However, outside we do have a nice funeral set up. Unfortunately, the heavens have opened and it is starting to rain as soon as this funeral begins. At first it was a really nice sunny day, and as soon as we start it, it starts to drizzle. And of course with benches and stuff, all the Sims love to just not sit facing the podium and everything. There's a few of them that are completely turned around, which is just great. It's really respectful and beautiful. But coming out to present this host this funeral, it is none other than me, myself, and I. Now, let's go ahead and start the speech. As Aaron, when I think of him, I don't think of him as the best winner of Big Brother, that's for sure. He was one of the first to get booed on his exit. He did have a really interesting storyline when it came to his sexuality and everything like that, and he was really fun and intriguing to watch. And I was really interested to see what kind of shenanigans he would get into this season, especially with it being so unknown. And now it will always be unknown. I'm sad to see him go so soon. Only on day 2, he only had about 78 hours in the house, but he will live on forever in our memory. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and skedaddle out of the house, as none of them really need any other human interactions. And the casket will get carried out with his family later on. This sounds so real. Aaron out there, if you're watching, sorry, man.
May we remember the good times, those times when you helped each other in tasks.
After all the funeral objects were put away, the garden was restored, however, with new furniture, including lounge chairs and other ways to make the Ministry of Peace job a little bit more comfortable and survivable. Is that a word? However, I am allowing the Ministry of Peace members to still have access to the house for the rest of the day, as I kind of want everyone all together and making each other feel better, as a lot of them are still very sad.
Miss Stevie Flena. Shelsh. Kanumi. Mergle Zira.
The house is pretty chaotic this afternoon. Everyone is located in all different rooms. Everyone's kind of separating and walking around. It's hard to really see anyone really sticking to one person and communicating. All of them kind of have ADHD at the moment. However, there is a nice little pool party starting in the garden as everyone takes a little cool down, as the rain has stopped and it is actually a pretty hot day. I don't know why, but to me, this living room looks so cold. Like, I feel like the AC would be bumping in this room. And especially on a hot day, I feel like I would be hanging out in here. So in the garden, like I said, it did get a little bit of a remaster. I did have those stairs platform going on, but none of them actually stood up on it autonomously. It was only when I told them to. So I did get rid of that, and I put some lounge chairs so our house guests can enjoy the sun. And of course, our first house guest to do that, and completely naked, is Isabelle. She wants to get an even darker shade of orange than she is right now. And I love her peeking around to make sure that everyone's looking, that cameras are on her and that eyes are on her from other house guests. And it looks like the only one that's really staring is Emma.
Deep sugar blue. Nah. Valmip.
Back inside our cold living room, a lot of the house guests are still in their formal attire, looking fancy for the day for no real reason. Looks as though Brian Bello is bonding with Nikki, and Ryland takes some time to cheer up Makosi.
Ooh, menu. Flavor Samzo Dolomani.
It seems I accidentally gave Brian Dowling and Bear the same bathing suit, but I love the juxtaposition of people in formal attire and then half the other side of the house being in a bathing suit. Davina and Bear are both showing off their abs and looking extremely confident into themselves. I can't say I would feel the same with, over 60 cameras on me at all times. Don't think so. So, since everyone is still really sad and grieving, I decided to go ahead and relieve everyone of their ministry duties. So, there will be no Room 101 for the Ministry of Truth today. And also, I've gone ahead and unlocked the storage room for everyone, so everyone's able to grab their own meal, do their own cleaning, and do their own little thing. Also, Courtney Act or Shane here looks totally unrecognizable. Like, who is that? Darrell from Big Brother 9? I don't know. Also, let me know if you'd rather me call them Courtney or Shane, because I never really know. But now that the storage room is unlocked, it's definitely a place to have a little secret bitch. At 4:41 p.m., Isabelle is still laying out naked in the sun. Everyone's had a good look at her, and now that the sun is totally off of her body, we can see that she is burnt. There is red steam coming off of her skin, and it is burnt to a crisp. Soon, Isabelle is the only one outside still, while most of the house is actually in the living room. A lot of them are just talking and laughing, while it seems that Nadia is trying to tell a group story or just talk over everyone. But it only really looks like Ryland is the one listening. But as you can see, Courtney Act is coming in with a fresh pile of clean clothes. I have decided to go ahead and put a washer and dryer in the storage area for right now. Depending on how good these house guests are, I will take them away. I'm just being nice right now because I feel like everyone's really feeling under the weather. Some worse than others, as you can see. New York has gotten sick. She has a rash all over her chest. Hellen is looking extremely cautious about it. But under the situation that we have going on right now, I'm going to go ahead and call New York to the diary room. That way, Big Brother can check her out, have a doctor come in and look at her and give her some medicine and cure this up before it spreads throughout the house and we potentially have another death. So as you can see, it's pretty bad, so we're going to go ahead and give New York some medicine and cure this up already. Once she's good to go, Big Brother decides to go ahead and call all of the house guests back into the living room as he has a nice little task for everyone. Now, you didn't actually think Big Brother was going to be nice the whole day, did you? Of course not. So since the ministries did not really have any tasks or chores to do today, they are all now going to be given one. So every single person, for free, is going to have to go into the diary room and select one person from their ministry that will not be allowed to vote in the nominations. Now, nominations would normally cost 5 big bucks, but again, Big Brother is feeling generous, right? Except for the Ministry of Love. Now, your job normally is to nominate face-to-face, and you will still do that today. So, Courtney Act or Shane, go ahead and stand up, head over to the person of your ministry that you are voting to lose their power to nominate.
Jim Whipsy.
Yanka.
All right, and Courtney Act has decided to vote for Makosi.
Ooh, Frong, Swish, Garza, Tom.
And returning the favor, Makosi goes ahead and announces that she is voting for Courtney Act. And after a seat swap, it is Emma's time to vote. Go ahead and head over to the house guest you are voting for.
Malspec, Mobsy Bombo. Befete Pelka. Kumiaubu Sharp Sposhim.
All right, so Emma has voted for Courtney Act. So that is 1 vote Makosi, 2 votes Courtney Act. Gemma, it is now your turn to stand up and say your vote.
Ooh. Oh. Ooh.
Bruh, Vimpa, Gil, Conchibo Laba, Nibla Suizo, Finosa Batanabe,
Zapula.
Rekalulu Saquinario, Harpin, Larkin
Ranks in a
Fruit.
chopper.
All right, so Gemma stands up and announces that she is voting for Craig, while Craig announces that he is voting for Courtney, meaning with 3 votes, Courtney, you will not be able to nominate. However, everyone else is still going to have to vote off another member of their ministry. So we're going to go ahead and have Cameron come into the diary room, and everyone else is going to do this in private 1 by 1. Now, again, all of these votes are based on relationships, kind of like how I do with Survivor and my Big Brother US series. So whoever they are the least closest to is who they are going to nominate or who they're going to vote off, etc. And just to have a little bit of privacy and not show exactly where everyone lies with everyone, I'm not going to show you guys the relationship statuses either. That way, when it comes to nominations in the next episode, it will be more of a surprise. As Monday and every Monday from now on, we will be having our nomination episode, where the house guests who are able to afford nominations or who are not prevented from voting will be able to spend 5 big bucks and nominate 2 people of their choice. But now that everyone is done voting, I can announce the results. So, from the Ministry of Truth, New York, you're voted out 3-1-1. Brian Dowling, you were voted out of the Ministry of Peace with a vote of 2-1-1. And actually, the Ministry of Plenty, all of you voted for different people, resulting in a tie, meaning every member of the Ministry of Plenty is no longer able to nominate. Therefore, we have quite a big group not able to nominate, which means that all of you that are allowed and are able to afford it, your vote is going to be extremely crucial on Monday. The ministries are still over for the rest of the day, so all of you are free to go and enjoy the house.
Room. Huh.
At 10:33 p.m., most of the house guests are getting ready for bed. However, Gemma comes to the diary room.
My hair, this is very expensive hair, is fucking frazzled. Because you've only got straighteners in here, you haven't got heated rollers. So you better pay, you can pay for me to have a new set of extensions. The fucking hair is frazzled. It's a fucking piss take, you're all taking the piss out of me. Why didn't you think of putting heated rollers in here? Straighteners are what fucking weirdos use on their hair. That's what you think of me.
Global band for Sacra?
Yip, yip, yip. Zagu, zagu.
Vubea. Ah?
It looks as though Gary Busey is taking one last step into the pool before they all head to bed. How they all still swim and party in that pool so casually so soon after, I'm not too sure. It seems as though Isabelle and Emma are taking a little bit of time to do a little bit of catch up, and I gotta say, in this bright spot of the house, Isabelle is looking insane, especially with that white shirt. Wow. Alright, but it doesn't take too long before the normal bathroom shuffle starts beginning as everyone starts to get ready for bed. Unfortunately for Cameron, after getting pranked on the toilet, it is going to involve an extra step of showering as he is now covered in sewage. And also, of course, that does mean that that's another toilet that's broken. If it's not the pranking that's breaking them, it's just the house guest breaking them. So now every single toilet is broken. And so it's a total team effort. We see that Craig and Pete are both going in and working on the toilets as Nikki is mopping behind them and cleaning it all up. Because with all of the toilets broken, it's going to be a complete disaster. Meanwhile, some of the house guests are already in bed, sleeping totally blissfully unaware of the situation that's occurring. In the living room, it looks as though Brian Bello is still pretty sad as he heads to bed, and Gemma is still seeking comfort with Tiffany and also Ryland. But Ryland can only take so much of Gemma before he actually changes, and that's actually his hot outfit, as it is still pretty hot and summery outside. And he heads out there and decides to grill up some fruit kebabs. Out of nowhere. I mean, everyone's asleep, but maybe he's just going to enjoy all of these himself. Or maybe they can have some leftover ones in the morning, if that's still good. I don't know if that's a good leftover or not, though.
Flarben Tuesday flowers.
And once the lights get cut off in the bedroom, everyone rushes into there in a huge mob. It's kind of scary. It's sleepy zombies. But Craig and Pete are still hard at work trying to repair the toilets. That way, whenever everyone wakes up in the morning, it won't be a huge disaster. And Ryland just happily cooks those fruit kebabs and leaves them outside on the picnic table to rot all night long. Doesn't even touch them, doesn't even eat them. Instead, he heads over into the storage room and starts making a garden salad that he most likely won't eat either. And as everyone else heads to bed, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. I love all my beanie weenies. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell. You can follow me on all my socials, and I'll post updates on there, especially with the new Big Brother US season starting, if you want to hear my opinions about that. And until then, I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye.